G'day Raiders family, Bourkeys here, and welcome to the big qualifier, 12 o'clock, 8 hours to go, grand final qualifier, Raiders Stadium, 29,000. It is set for probably the biggest Raiders game, in my opinion only, since 1994 grand final. The prelim that year was against North Sydney. We know the result there. Playing behind me here on YouTube is the 89 qualifying final again against South Sydney for our first premiership. So it's really got a beautiful mix tonight's game, and it's really flowing very nicely in our favour. But, and there's some big buts, South just aren't going to lie down and let us steamroll them. They're going to be in this up to their eyeballs. It's going to be a very, very hard game, and we've just got to pare back and simplify our processes and our systems, things I've mentioned the last couple of months. Got to stick to our game plan, not worry about them, not worry about what they do, just worry about us and what we can do that's got us here. So a lot of emotion, a lot of players get a little bit of stage fright, but these are the things the players train for. These are the situations that they get themselves into, and these are the people that they are to get themselves out of it if things aren't going right. We've got some amazing leaders in that side, Hodjo, Jared, Elliott, Bateman, you name it. We've got some really big players and big leaders in that side that are going to have a massive influence tonight. But look, let's get into the top 10. You really don't need to be an Einstein to work out where Souths are going to play. So I've gone the Burgess brothers first and foremost. This is where the game I think is going to be won and lost. If the Burgess brothers can intimidate and get momentum against our pack through that middle third in the first 20 minutes, we're in for a really, really long night. A couple of things about the Burgess brothers looking closely the last couple of weeks. One or two of them are playing injured, which is a good thing. So what I'll come to later, the speed of the game is going to be so important to us to make sure we keep the ball in field. I think Reynolds, who I'll come to shortly, is going to try and find the line a hell of a lot to slow the play down, to take our impact players out of the game, but I'll cover that shortly. The thing with the Burgess brothers is they have errors in them and they have penalties in them. Every game, one of those things happens with one of those three. Errors and penalties, particularly when they get tied, that's when you'll find those sorts of things start to creep in. So if we can get up in their face early, get a couple of errors, get a couple of penalties, the rest of the side are looking across, they're going to be very deflated, that their leaders of their forward pack are starting to waver, are starting to become ill-disciplined and frustrated. So I think if we can really ruffle them up early, get in their face and cause a few errors, particularly around that ruck area, it's going to hold us in really good stead. Early penalties are critical for our flow and momentum. We can't afford to give South field position, and those three guys are going to be the three that are really going to try and impose themselves early with that type of play. The person that feeds off it at number 2 is Damien Cook. The quickest and fastest hooker in broken play in the game today. He's going to feed off those Burgess brothers, giving him field position. If our defence can hold tight and South are only getting to the 30, 40 metre line on their kick, the effectiveness of Cook is nullified to basically zero. You won't find him making 60, 70 metre runs out of dummy half. Where he really thrives is 30, 40 metres out, attacking our line midfield. He gets one of the Burgess boys to go straight down behind the ruck, and that's when he scoops and goes, quick play the ball. 9 times out of 10, if that happens, he will go to his left-hand side, which is Cody Walker's side. Cook's right to left pass is far more potent than his right to left pass. That's his non-dominant side. This is his dominant side. So he schemes across field looking for either Walker to hit the gap, possibly Dewey out the back, or someone like that to really hit a hole, John Sutton. But that's where Cook's going to be at his most potent and most lethal if we're gifting them field position 30 to 40 metres out in the centre of the field. Anything further back than that, he'll only pick it up and pass, pick it up and pass, or pick it up, pass back to Reynolds for a kick downfield. Reynolds is my number 3. I think he's playing injured. His defence last week against Manly was woeful. I don't see in the space of a week how the hell he could turn around his defensive lapses and defensive moments that cost 2 or 3 tries. He plays with Sam Burgess inside of him, and he's going to have Dane Gagai on the right side. Not a very good right edge. I'll come to our right edge later on and what we can do to exploit it. But Reynolds is confident. He's a confidence player. So if you can get, once again, get some errors early, get up in his face with his kick. He's going to be their main kicker, obviously. So we need to get in and really ruffle him up early. He doesn't play to the line as much as he used to. He'll stand back and throw instead of going into the line and looking for a support play. So we've really got to nail him. Get him on the ground as much as possible. Once again, rough him up. Really let him know that we're going to be in his face all night. Once again, if we can hamper his kicks and really get into his mindset around his defence with our left edge attack particularly, and really try and exploit him with Elliott running one-on-one, CNK coming in the back running one-on-one, short balls to Jared, I think it's really going to work well in our favour by hitting Reynolds as much as we can. And number 4 leads me to Cody Walker. Walker's going to be a threat once again if we have field position to gift them on that left edge. Now, the South's left edge is not as potent as it used to be. They've got some injuries. Some guys have come in late. But I think, once again, Walker's one of those guys that we can ruffle up, get him frustrated like he was against Manly last week, and really get into his head. Then, once again, it's going to go a hell of a long way for us to getting this victory. Enough about South. Let's talk about us and the things we have to do. We have to get precisionally right, fine-tuned, and that will get us the win. Number 5, I've gone for Jack. Now, a stellar breakout year. What I'd love to see Jack do tonight, and watching this game behind me and other greatest games from that era, is the way that Laurie Daly ran the ball early on his own. I think tonight, Jack has to really try and exploit the Reynolds and Burgess defensive edge on the left edge. I think Jack's just got to run. The first 3 or 4 times, all I want to do with Jack is run and square the play up. So instead of going left or sliding to the left to hit Elliott or Jared, I'd just like to see him step in field and straighten the attacking play up, and then we go the next set. The way that Jack plays, his body size, it's going to be an opportune time for him to really try and poke his nose through that defensive line. He needs to have players on his inside. He uses that big left foot set step and really ask some questions. He needs to have a Reynolds Burgess tackle consistently, trying to get him down. That's going to give Hodjo some really good opportunities to scoop and get the momentum that we need. So I just want to see Jack run and run and run tonight, and then run some more, Jack. Just keep running all night. The big thing with Jack running, our forwards running, and the momentum is that gives Hodjo, my number 6, that real beautiful path that he needs to really dictate around that ruck. If we can win that battle where we've nullified Cook without defence, so Cook's trying to run 40 metres out from his line to make a play, if we're giving Hodjo 30, 40 metres out, attacking South's line with plenty of tackles up our sleeve, and we're going in lines at South, then he's going to have a field day. So the rest of the players really have to make sure that when Hodjo scoops and goes, we have 2 players either side of that ruck moving with him in a line. That'll cause the South defence to go back, not force their hand, which allows Hodjo to force his hand for them to make a decision. If Hodjo can force them to make a decision, it just creates some beautiful space on those edges for us. Papali at number 7. I love the move against Melbourne. I prefer that Papa once again did not start tonight. I think with Sam and both Burgess boys thereabouts, Papa coming on after 20, 25 minutes, I think will really create some havoc for South. South have got a big pack. They've been belted from the Roosters, from Manly. I just don't think they're going to want another hard physical game. With Papa coming on at that 20, 25 minute mark, it's going to be a huge plus for us and the rest of the bench of Emre, Corey, as well as Bailey when he gets on. So just to have those guys warming up with Papa, knowing they've got to get on there and do a job with him, is really going to cause South a lot of headache, particularly on the bench. I think, once again, as I've said the last couple of months, and I'll say it again, our bench rotation and our bench impact is huge. Corey Horsburgh, I haven't mentioned him in the top 10, but I think, once again, if he can get some second phase play when he comes on with some offloads, it's really going to tire South out. The right edge at number 8, Rapana, Leilua, Bateman, Caesar. Ran beautifully against Melbourne. The defence was rock solid. They seem to know each other's game plans now, a la the Leilua flick pass inside to Bateman. Leipana's been lethal in the past. It's been a bit sanguine this year, but I think that can really build nicely tonight. Sean's coming in at the back. So I think our right edge, if we can really get that humming tonight, with our defensive prowess and our attacking options there, we can really do some numbers on South on their South's left edge in attack. So once again, really critical for Aiden to straighten the attack like he has been, and then bring Bateman straight. Bringing the centre in to tackle Bateman, which gives Leilua and Jordan some overlap opportunities. If Bateman can get that centre interested in him to shoot in off his line, Aiden's got the opportunity to go out the back to Shans or out the back to BJ. But I'm really looking for our right edge tonight to really be lethal, tight, and then opening the shoulders. I think if we can play to the edges against South, left and right edge, South will not want to chase for 80 minutes. So we've really got to use and open the field up, run at Walker, run at Reynolds on those edges, and really make them work overtime in tackling and chasing back and forth. The kicking game at number 9. Now, I just can't begin to elaborate how critical a kicking game in a final like this is for both sides. So from a South perspective, I think Alex Johnson on the wing is suspect under the high ball. Dewey is solid under the high ball. A bit different with grubber kicks. I think grubber kicks that Aiden can do to the corners where they bounce and just sit there and roll around. I think they're the plays we've got to play to Dewey. So we've really got to make sure our kicking game's slick. No 7-set repeats. We just can't afford them tonight in these big high-pressure games. Any extra tackle you do is like doing an extra 3 tackles. So we've really got to minimise any 7-set repeat sets with bad kicks. So those sorts of things are really important. I think our kicking game is a lot better than South. South really just rely on Reynolds. So Reynolds will usually be on the right side of his ruck, which is our left edge. But we've got Hodjo, Aiden and Jack. Hodjo's kicking game out of that area tonight, once again, can be diabolical for South if you can get into those corners and bring our line up and let our defence attack South. Let our defence attack South with really good kick chase to those corners and really hem South in. And guys, number 10, I've just gone basically for it's our time. I think tonight has been set up beautifully. We have to do the hard work early. It's not going to be gifted to us. Canberra have always been the little brother in the competition, always had sand kicked in its face, but we are ready to shine tonight on a really big stage with 29,000 people there, hundreds of thousands of Raiders supporters around the country watching intently, knowing that this is our opportunity tonight to really make a mark against the heavyweights where no one really gave us a chance but ourselves and the players and the staff that we could make an impact. So guys, that's it. I'm as nervous as buggery. Looking forward to an awesome night down there, guys. I'm as jealous as hell, but I know you're going to be a massive Viking clap. Can't wait for this one to begin. I want to be here next week with another top 10 with a grand final preview. So guys, that's it for now. As always, guys, massive bleed green to you all down there. Australia-wide, have an awesome day. And as always, this is Bourkeys out.